think we might have done it. It's the Works Disco. Enjoy the video. Can I ask you to consider subscribing to the channel? Helps push it to people who haven't seen it before. Also, if you think you are subscribed, double check. If you fancy contacting me, then it's churchhourseclassics, and that's all one word, @gmail.com. If you fancy supporting the channel or just buying me a pint, then there's a PayPal me link scrolling down here. Enjoy the video. And one little last message, sorry to interrupt you folks. There is a camera flicker throughout this video, keeps coming and going. I think it's down to the battery in my little DJI Osmo. I've taken the battery out. If it proves to be that, I'm going to hit it with a hammer. No, seriously, it's a silly thing to do, Richard. There's also a case of extreme profanity which I had to edit out. But watch the video, you'll find out why. When the scaffold was over the road, I had to come over and ask me to mind my language. You know you got a problem. Anyway, enjoy the video. There's not extreme profanity in the video. I edited it out, but... A short while later, I've undone the viscous fan. Take the belt off, taken the tensioner off just because I could see better without it. Drained half the cooling system down, removed the fan cowl, and undone the bolts that secure the pump. Now I reckon this is salvageable, and I reckon it's that plate there that's gone, because that is what is absolutely saturated with oil. So I'm going to take the two hoses off, hoses Carreras, and we're going to see if we can't get this thing to behave itself, which would be nice, wouldn't it, really? Right, it's off. Give it a quick clean over. This is the union here where all that fluid was just coming from, but there is also a joint here between the main pump body, or the pump vanes I should say, and the back end. So it could be between the aluminium bit and the cast bit, or it could be underneath this pipe here. Now, because the fluid was dripping off here, I'm going to look at this first. What we'll do before we take it off is we'll take a quick picture, because it's good practice, folks, just so you know the orientation of the bloody thing. Right, so that's done that, and then this can come off. Get my pens and pencils out of the way. Nice tidy bench, Richard. I had a visit today from Mr. Bertram Worcester, Bertie Worcester, sorry, who frequently comments on the channel. Surprise inspection. Unfortunately, workshop was not tidy. Right, there's no ring in there. Has the O-ring just failed? Do we think that's all it is? It could just be this O-ring has failed. It's looking pretty mashed. So we can try it. I haven't got the gasket to go around the main body, although I have got gasket paper. Let's just check how tight these fixings are. Hold the two halves of the body together. Otherwise it could just be a very simple case of replacing that O-ring, that bastard there, which is possible I could have done from underneath the car, but battery died. It says 14% and the battery died. Maybe the battery's tired. There has been a bit of flickering on this camera recently. And my voice is very husky because I've had a bastard cold and cough. Now, these fixings here, they are all reasonably tight. So I am going to err on the side of caution and say, although that one is looser than the others, I'm going to suggest that it's probably that O-ring that's caused the problem. So if we hook that out, see if we've got a suitable O-ring. That is very thin. go see what we've got. Go for the green O-ring first. We have got some that look like they might be suitable. That one might work. Next size up is that one, which is even better. Let's see what it looks like around that. That's too big. Let's try that one. Well, do you know what? I'm going to bolt it together again like that with that O-ring on. Let's see if that improves the situation. If it does, that could be a good easy fix. I mean, that O-ring there is super thin. That's really knackered. Could still be coming from here because it would dribbling down to the lowest point. But when I cleaned it up, it wasn't like there was an obvious area of really wet pump. There is a gasket that sits in between those two faces. I don't want to take it apart unless I have to, so I'm going to bolt it back up again. I am going to, don't have to fully reassemble the car. I'm going to bolt it up, connect the two pipes, and put the drive belt on, start the engine, see if it still leaks. Okay, half an hour later, almost back together. So pump is back in, all pipes are connected. Tightened up the high tension or high pressure pipe that goes towards the box. Tightened up the pipe that goes towards the reservoir, that's all ready. Traced another gasket here for the EGR thingy, that's all done. And if you are a believer that everything happens for a reason, I found it. What's that you're saying? I'll tell you what that is. That's the end of this pipe. Fuck you. Now I'm going to need to lengthen this somehow. I'm rather hoping that, given a fair wind and a degree of luck, there'll be enough hose here, and there is almost enough hose. If I go over the top here rather than through the side, rather than through here, it's not very explanatory, is it? But then it's getting dark and I'm getting fed up. So rather than going through here and underneath there, if I go over the top here, I'll probably just about get this onto there. So what I need to do is to cut this bracket off here and give myself a stub to attach to and get another one of these pipes. Just like that. Now, I cut through the bracket that supports, you can't see, cut through the bracket that supports the metal rail to the inlet manifold using a Dremel, and protected the existing wiring using a slab of metal. And then I was able to put the pipe over the stub and secure it basically to the intercooler top hose. That's not going to go anywhere near here. That'll do until I can replace that top stub. Right, now next I need really to put some coolant back in this thing and then see if we've done the job or not. Yeah, that fucking worked beautifully, that did. Right, okay, I'm going to have to order either the pump or the overhaul kit for the pump, because I'm fast running out of ATF here. There's no point carrying on with this today. I haven't got the kit, I haven't got the gasket. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Fucking thing. Right, that can go back on there, that can go back on there. There was a slight coolant leak from that pipe repair I did, so I pushed the pipe on a bit further. But if I'm ordering up the pump repair, and you can see it dripping down there, if you look about there, it's happily dripping away down there. I've got a lovely new set of Wranglers on here. 235 70 R16s, just gone on. Beautiful, just fucking beautiful. Couldn't do the tracking because the drag link. Oh, why is there no spare wheel on, Richard? Why's your spare wheel on there, Richard? Why's your brand new tyre down there, Richard? Oh, how the fuck did you do that, Richard? I'm keeping the language moderated here for this, folks. I was reversing into my yard, and as I was reversing into my yard, my gate, which I'd just opened and was sitting here, decided to start swinging forwards, and my tyre caught on that. Oh joy. Well, I think, to be honest, it just about sums my bloody day up. Brand spanking new. It has done a mile. Back from the test, back from the Merit tyre place I had them fitted out. Fucker. Got yourself to blame, Richard. You should have pegged the gate open. You should have pegged the gate open. You should have pegged the gate open. Anyway, luckily I kept one of the spares. I should go back over there and find out if he's got the other spare that I just took off and dumped. What a fucking cretin. Well, there's the octopus, or whatever you want to call it, off. Bottom cooling hose. Yeah, there's a video about that. Got a new top rail ERR 4531. Remove the old unit. And time to put it all back together again. Now I've got another pump coming, power steering pump, because I just can't be arsed with it anymore. So I'm just going to refit this. You just got to undo 2 nuts on the inlet manifold, exhaust manifold, sorry, inlet exhaust manifold. They are exhaust bolts rather than inlet bolts. But anyway, so I loosened those 2, and I'm just going to pop this back on now. And then get the top hose, bottom hose back in, top hose back in, and be ready for power steering pump, which is there. And of course I've taken the belt off and I've not taken the bloody bolts off again. Silly arse, never mind. Looks a lot better, doesn't it? Oh yes. Right, okay, that's popped in. While I was working on this clip at the back here, I found this bloody great big roll of, I don't know where it's gone now. It was the micro bore stuff that's supposed to go down to this device here. I don't know what this device does. But there's nothing connected to it. Anywhere. What the fuck? So, I don't know what it does. I suspect it's something to do with cruise control. I don't know. Tell me. It's vacuum controlled, but there's only one pipe going to it, which was broken here, and that comes off the vacuum pump down there. Now the other thing I noticed is when I went to go and look at it, and I thought, that's strange, why has that got that clip on there? That's what I was thinking, why has that got that clip on there? And then I found that really the feed for the brake servo is kind of just there on a wing and a prayer. So I've got some more vacuum pipe there. I'll see if I can make something better than that. Otherwise we're still not going on the road anytime soon, are we? Glad I taxed this for December. Right, the other thing I did, these little fuel return pipes, and they go between each of the injectors along the top there. And yes, very tired. So I've replaced that lot. They can all go in the bin. New pump's arrived. It's a pattern pump rather than an OE pump. It will do the job, I'm fairly sure of that. It's going to go over and just double check that everything really is pointing in the right direction. I need to take the mounting plate off, these 3 fixings here, and fix it onto that. Double check that the pulley goes on, which I've got. Get pulley. Beautiful. And beautiful. Is the pump, has the pump got the same offset? Is the next question. It doesn't look like it. We got our first problem, is the pump not actually going to fucking fit? Oh, for pity's sake. Right, what we need to do, I think, is take the base plate off there. Photograph first, it's freezing today, by the way, hence me coughing and spluttering, shivering, not making any common sense. Let's get these off. No, I haven't got the ratchet. Where's the ratchet handle gone? We're really organised today, boy. We really are organised today. No, the socket's disappeared. For fuck's sake. What we'll do is we'll measure, get my ruler here, from the body to the flange for now. So we have got 3.5 centimetres, and from the body to the flange we've got 4 centimetres, but probably need to take the mounting plate off really to be absolutely sure on this. I did order a bag with the seals in it, so if we do end up having to put the old pump back on again, which I'm really reluctant to do, I suspect that the problem is with the pressure relief valve, then that's not ideal, is it? Right, now let's measure from the mounting plate to the flange, 3.5. Let's put the mounting plate on here and measure from the mounting plate to the flange. 3.6. It will fit. It's obviously just the design of the pump is very, very, very slightly different. So it's going to go on, is what's going to happen here. So these 3 fixings can go back, and then I am going to go and bolt this up to the engine. I've lost my socket already, there it is. Go and bolt this up to the engine, and prime it. Let's see what happens. It can't be bad. It doesn't want to be bad. It wants to be positive. It just, when you can understand my concern. When I was looking at the pumps side on, they look different, and the mounting holes are very, very, very slightly different. In fact, that port appears to be slightly further forwards than it would be normally. But never mind. We're going to go and see if it fits. If it doesn't fit, it's fucking going back. It wants to fit. Right, they're on. Okay. Right, that's that bled through. Bled through on the top of the box. Just need to clear up that mess there. And we have power steering again. Makes all the difference. I'm going to go and rip the other pump apart now and report back on what the problem was. Now this is that brake servo pipe where the T came off to go towards the EGR valve, and you can see the remains of the T piece is in there still. I don't quite know how that got broken. I shall put that in the boot. Stepping into the swimming pool, I need to pressure wash this mud into the swimming pool and sort this lot out. It's a job for January. Right, put the fan on as well. Right, let's do that. Check cooling system. Fucking use it. Oh yes. Right. I want to take it for a good run, just double check that all of the cooling pipes are still nice and tight. Make sure we are pressurising the system. There's water in the top pipe at the moment. See how the silicone hoses come on. They weren't cheap. But I thought the bottom hose kind of made sense, top hose less so, because the bottom hose is quite a big old affair. Right. I think. Pump apart. Gloves first, because it's just going to be a messy job, and I sort of cleaned myself up a little while ago. And apologies for sniffing, apologies for yellow coat. It's cold in here, so I'm wearing a big yellow coat. I've got the heater on, apologies for sniffing because it's fucking winter. And I have had a miserable cough and cold for the last 3 weeks. Now, let's get this bastard open. So So we've just got 4 Allen keyed bolts. Now, that one didn't seem very tight. Not as tight as the other one. So we'll get the pump apart, and then we'll have a look. That one didn't seem very tight either. And then we'll have a look at the pressure valve in here. See if we can't work out what earth is going wrong with it. Right, so, oh look, the gasket's all torn anyway. So, no, this is interesting because I didn't get the feeling there should be a gasket on this. Gasket is, there's 2 gaskets on here. There's 1 gasket. And the rest of this is gloop. And it's very clearly failed at the gloop. Now, I thought these had a giant O-ring on them, but apparently not. So I'm going to find out what pump this is, because there's a reasonable chance it's just the gasket that's failed. Now, let's see if we can't get the pressure relief valve out. I think you need to take this. Normally, on other pumps I've seen, you undo a nut opposite the high pressure outlet, but on this it looks like it's there doesn't appear to be a lot wrong with it. Is it going to come apart? Probably not. Probably don't want to go much further than that. I can see very clearly that it has burst. You can see where the fluid has gone round the edges. I know it's absolutely obliterated, but and there's quite a lot of shite in there. So let's just lob that back together roughly. Put the bolts in there just so the innards don't fall out. That's out. And then inside here we will have a pressure relief shuttle that way round. And there should be a spring in there as well, I would have thought. There it is. There's quite a lot of dirt in there. I mean, it's entirely possible some grit got in there and just held the pressure relief valve open. That feels like it's notching. Just feels like it's catching. Yeah, it catches there. I suspect it's a front pump. I don't know how to identify it. That is definitely not working as well as I thought it might. Pressure relief valve. As I kind of move around, it's basically pushing it in different directions. And it snags. I suspect it's tired. Right, let's pop that back in there. Can I even get this back in? No. No, I can't. That's got to go a long way in. Right, now it will. Right, I think what we do is we don't worry about this because we've got another pump on there. And if we can't identify the pump, then it's probably a non-serviceable item and destined for its new life as a Beco fridge freezer. I expect someone will come online and tell me, oh, but no, that's an incredibly rare prototype, blah, 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 blah. Yes. Righty-ho. Test drive time. Cold start, cold boarding. No problems. Stop rattling. Now, we still need to do a ton of work with this car, I know, but the fact that it's a runner now doesn't matter how stupid hat can come off. Here we go. This way. So this isn't the very first drive I've done. I have been out with this thing before, shaking it down and so forth, but now this is the kind of official, I guess, drive with its 3 new tyres and new power steering pump and new cooling hoses. My truck's popped, bastard. So I'm actually quite pleased with this thing. It drives quite nicely. You need to. Oh, Bogman again. Keep bumping into Bogman. Hello, Bogman. Runs the toilet hire something up at the estate. I was going to have a chat with him later on. I suppose now, because I'm in such a distinctive vehicle, people can see me from a mile away. Right, okay, so let's concentrate on this. So it's diesel, it's automatic, it's not ideally suited, but it does drive really nicely. We've got standard factory springs on this thing, and we've got Bose shock absorbers on all 4 corners. Back end, including the A-frame, is polybushed. Front end is pretty much as it's standard. So that's all okay. Let's put some bit of heat on it here. Front end is standard. Obviously all the welding, which is predominantly my activities from May through to December, was welding this thing up, and it was done a chunk at the time, as and when I had the time and the enthusiasm to get on with doing my own car and not get paid for it. A404. It's not going to do any quarter miles, is it really? And it is cold at the moment. I need to do a proper fuel economy run, which I'll probably do in January, we're a week before Christmas now, Sunday before Christmas, just to give you some indication on timescales and so forth. So yes, I'll include that side. Right, so A404. So what we're basically going to get now with this gearbox, the torque converter drive-through takes place at just before 50 miles an hour. So here I am, gently accelerating at 2,000 RPM, and 3, 2, 1. It drops. You heard it drop then. I don't know if you heard it drop. Right, so we dropped down to about 1,500 RPM at 50 miles an hour, and now we get the torque of the engine. So I've put my boot down at 55. I've not put my boot down. There's a van in front of me anyway. It's quite comfortable. It's a nice smooth ride. It's a little bit choppier than the Range Rover, but then the rear springs, the coil springs, they are much heavier duty because we don't have the levelling strut on the back end of the Discovery. And you start to realise how good the levelling strut is on the classic Range Rover when they're working, because you can put much softer springs on the back end, but you're not feeling like the back end's trying to bounce up and down in the air all the time. Because they can cope with being completely unloaded. I suspect this will probably ride better if we put a couple of bags of concrete in the boot. Nice Buckinghamshire morning. Every morning still? I don't know whether the morning still. I'm on the phone. Oh, just lunchtime. Just. So it cruises along quite happily. I've probably done about 100 miles in total, I think. And it's used about a quarter of a tank of fuel. Seats are comfortable, now I've rebuilt them. There's no moisture getting into the car at all. I haven't put the sound deadening back in underneath the carpets yet, so we've got very little sound deadening in this vehicle. But I can get used to this. I need to get that bonnet painted. There's no way I'm not going to put up with that. Steve needs to paint that. I look at that all day long. So So it's a pilgrimage, this trip. It is a pilgrimage to a place that is very special to me, although I've not been there in a few years. It's been in the press recently for fucking no reason whatsoever. But I bought my very first Land Rover from the landlord of this particular establishment. My first Range Rover. Insert picture here. My first Range Rover. Outside the Saracen's Head in Amersham. Yeah, apparently we're not allowed to reference Saracens anymore because it's offensive. Yeah, political stance over and done with. I think some people are just taking the fucking piss. I'm sorry to say. So offended that they're just taking the fucking piss. Trouble is, I know that the brewery will just buckle over. What they should call it, they should actually rename the pub. If they're going to rename it, and they probably will. It's been the Saracen's Head for hundreds of years in Old Amersham. And it used to be my regular drinking hall before I got married. I bought my first Range Rover from the landlord of this place. I met my wife in this pub. This is how significant this particular establishment is to me in my life. So I'm going to go and have a drive past the pub, and then we're going to go out through Great Missenden on the right past and back to my unit. Yeah, I used to drink in this place every Friday and Saturday. My mate Graham, Gravel Truck Graham, raced bikes. Whenever he raced bikes, he was always in the gravel truck, which is why we call him Gravel Truck Graham. But yeah, I don't understand why someone would be offended by history. If you are offended by history, then there's something fucking wrong with you. There really is. It's happened. And if you don't pay attention to history, then you repeat the mistakes made, etc. Rant over. Right, so I'm just going to go into the top end of Milton Street, past the HS2 roadworks. This is Old Amersham, because I used to live in Amersham. I had a bachelor pad, proper men behaving badly bachelor pad, which would not surprise you, would it? It's not going to surprise you, folks. So past Amersham Hospital. Sniff face. There's a wait here. Looks like he's taking no prisoners. Width restrictions past the Old Amersham Workhouse. I'm offended. Here we are into old medieval Old Amersham. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful town. I'll just let this van go past me. It's coming up the road. It's not quite wide enough. Beautiful green key. I do like a pint of that as well. Saracen's Head is beautiful. Thank you very much for still being the Saracen's Head in Old Amersham. I used to live in Amersham on the Hill, not my station. Flat. 3 of the mates. I'm actually quite pleased that I met my wife when I did. I was about 27. Because I'm pretty sure she saved my liver. Now, why are you parked there? Past the old Guildhall. Past the Crown, which featured the internals of the Crown featured in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And then we go past the King's Arms, which the exterior featured in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. Now, what are you doing? I don't know what the fuck is going on. I think what we've got now is we've got a whole load of people in Old Amersham who really do not know what they're fucking doing. In your own time, chap. Fucking hell. Past the Elephant Castle. That'll be offending somebody. Be a fat woman, someone will be offended by the use of the word elephant. That's out now, Richard. And then we've got the swan and the eagle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull over and change the battery of my camera here because I've just noticed it's actually getting quite low. My battery's about to run out anyway, and I haven't got a spare battery with me because I left it at home because the battery's been causing the camera to flicker. So we'll see if we can get a drive-through or Old Hammershire, which is a beautiful, beautiful town. There's a swan. There it is. Been in the swan a few times. Eagles, alright. There used to be a pub down there, the Griffin, which I used to enjoy a drink or two in. And up here on the right, timber frame building, you can see that is the King's Arms, which no doubt will offend somebody. Absolutely no doubt at all. King's Arms. And then the Guildhall in front, and to the right of the Guildhall is the Crown. Very plush. Very plush indeed. That car's still parked there. I don't quite understand why it's parked there, but right now there's an old Series 3. Look at that. Hello, Series 3. What a beauty. Then we're going to Wealdon Street. The problem we've got with Wealdon Street now is we're driving in towards the sun. And on the left hand side here, you'll see my old haunt. Brilliant pub. Might have to go back in for a pint. Telling the missus we're going for a pint there tonight. I've got to go do some work now. And then we're back up to the other end of Wealdon Street, past the workhouse on the right hand side here. Lovely old Victorian building. Exploiting the workers, someone will be offended. I think, like I say in a lot of my videos, especially the beer and bollocks ones, I've got no intention to offend. So if you find yourself offended, it's a you problem, not a me problem. And I think very much that applies to society these days. No one is born with a right to not be offended. That's HS2, which a lot of people are offended by. I'm not. It's a marvellous project. There we are, back out the top end of Wealdon Street and onto the A404, and the traffic lights are going to oblige. Right, okay, I'm probably going to say goodbye now because my camera's about to run out.